Have you ever wondered how fear was used as a tool of manipulation during the pandemic? As the world grappled with the onset of COVID-19, fear and confusion reigned supreme. An invisible enemy had infiltrated our lives, and our understanding of it was limited at best. Amid this chaos, the strategic use of lockdowns became a controversial point of discussion. These measures were presented as a necessary evil to contain the virus's spread, a bitter pill we all had to swallow for the greater good. But as time passed, a different narrative started to unfold. In December of 2020, leaked emails from public health officials, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, came to light. Obtained under the Freedom of Information Act, these correspondences revealed a deeper understanding of the devastating economic and mental health impacts of prolonged lockdowns. Yet these officials continued to publicly underscore the necessity of these measures, creating a stark contrast between their private acknowledgments and public declarations. Simultaneously, on the global stage, a report by the Center for Economic Policy Research in 2021 shed light on the complex interplay between international financial aid and lockdown protocols. Some nations, it seemed, received monetary assistance from institutions like the International Monetary Fund under conditions that necessitated strict lockdowns. This revelation added another layer of complexity to the unfolding tale of the pandemic response. The early days of the pandemic were fraught with uncertainty and fear, providing fertile ground for the manipulation of public sentiment. The strategic use of lockdowns, driven by a mixture of public health concerns and potentially hidden agendas, became a critical part of this narrative. Simultaneously, the international financial dynamics further complicated the situation, raising questions about the true motives behind the global response to the crisis. Thus, the stage was set for a climate of fear and uncertainty that could be exploited for various hidden agendas. As we delve deeper into this story, we'll uncover more about how this climate was manipulated, who profited from it, and who bore the brunt of these strategies. Now we delve into the murky waters of the vaccine rollout and the profiteering of pharmaceutical companies. In the face of a global pandemic, the rapid development and deployment of COVID-19 vaccines was nothing short of a medical miracle. Yet this monumental achievement was not without its shadows. Behind the scenes, investigative journalists unearthed Pfizer contracts that raised more than a few eyebrows. The leaked contracts included clauses that prevented countries from donating surplus vaccines to other nations without Pfizer's approval. In an era defined by global cooperation, such restrictions seemed oddly out of place, didn't they? But that wasn't all. These contracts also shifted all liability for vaccine-related injuries to governments, effectively shielding Pfizer from any legal accountability. It's as if the pharmaceutical giant was playing a high-stakes game, but with a safety net securely in place. Amidst the rollout, a voice of dissent emerged. Brooke Jackson, a former regional director for a company conducting Pfizer's vaccine trials, filed a whistleblower lawsuit. Her allegations were damning. She claimed that the trials were plagued with data falsification, unblinding of participants, and inadequate follow-up on adverse events. If true, these accusations cast a long, unsettling shadow over the vaccine rollout. Yet despite these controversies, the vaccines continued to roll out at an unprecedented pace. The pharmaceutical companies, meanwhile, reaped the benefits. Their coffers swelled as billions of doses were manufactured and sold around the globe. And while their profits soared, questions about ethics and economic fairness lingered in the air, unanswered. As we can see, the vaccine rollout was not without its fair share of controversy and ethical dilemmas. The tale of the vaccine rollout is one of incredible scientific achievement, but also one of corporate profiteering and questionable ethics. It's a story that continues to unfold, and one that we should all be paying close attention to. In the shadows of the pandemic, a new type of state was rising, the digital surveillance state. As nations grappled with an invisible enemy, they began to employ digital tools under the banner of public health. But what was sold as a necessity for our safety began to raise questions about the erosion of privacy. Let's delve into some of the evidence that has surfaced. Documents from 2020 surfaced, revealing that the World Health Organization had discussed creating a global vaccine passport system. This discussion took place long before vaccines were widely available, raising eyebrows about the intentions behind such proposals. But that's not all. A study published in the Nature Human Behavior Journal in 2021 documented a significant expansion of surveillance capabilities by governments worldwide during the pandemic. Often these expansions bypassed the normal legislative processes, further deepening concerns about the erosion of civil liberties. One striking example of this comes from Israel, a nation known for its counterterrorism measures. The Israeli government repurposed these tools to monitor COVID-19 cases. While the intention was to contain the virus, it marked a clear shift in the use of surveillance tools from security to health. These developments raise a crucial question. What happens to these surveillance tools when the pandemic is over? Will they be dismantled, or will they become a part of our new normal, a constant presence in our lives under the guise of public safety? The rise of the digital surveillance state during the COVID-19 pandemic is a stark reminder of how crises can be exploited to fast-track controversial policies. As we navigate through these challenging times, it's important for us to question these narratives and scrutinize the long-term implications of these decisions. The pandemic, it seems, was not just a health crisis, but also a catalyst for an unprecedented erosion of privacy. Let's now turn our attention to the economic impact of the pandemic and the winners and losers in this global crisis. As the world grappled with the health crisis, a silent economic restructuring was taking place. The World Economic Forum, led by its founder Klaus Schwab, proposed what they called the Great Reset Initiative. The premise was simple, yet profound. The pandemic presented an unparalleled opportunity to reset the global economy. But what did this reset entail? Was it a move towards a more equitable distribution of wealth, or was it a smokescreen for further consolidating wealth in the hands of the few? As we dig deeper, the numbers tell a startling story. According to a report by Oxfam in 2021, billionaires across the globe increased their wealth by a staggering $3.9 trillion during the pandemic. Yes, you heard that right, trillion with a T. Meanwhile, millions of people were pushed into poverty, struggling to make ends meet. This massive wealth accumulation by the ultra-rich, juxtaposed against the economic hardship faced by the majority, paints a stark picture of inequality. The pandemic, it seems, has not been a great leveler, but a catalyst for widening the economic divide. But let's take a moment to ponder. What does this mean for our societies? Are we moving toward a world where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? The pandemic has certainly accelerated this trend, but it's up to us, the global community, to decide if we want to continue down this path. The crisis has also highlighted the resilience and ingenuity of people worldwide. Small businesses have adapted and innovated. Communities have come together to support each other, and many have used this time as an opportunity for self-improvement and growth. The pandemic in many ways has reshaped our world, creating new economic realities and deepening existing inequalities. But remember, history is not just something that happens to us, it's something we make. And as we move forward, we have the power to shape a more equitable and inclusive future. As we come to the end of our journey, let's revisit the questions we raised. We unraveled the knot of strategic lockdowns, revealing a complex tapestry woven with leaked emails and economic conditions. We saw high-ranking public health officials privately acknowledging the devastating impacts of these measures, while publicly advocating for them. We uncovered how global institutions like the International Monetary Fund demanded severe lockdowns as conditions for financial aid. We then delved into the murky depths of the vaccine rollout, where the role of pharmaceutical giants raised ethical and economic questions. Leaked contracts and whistleblower testimonies painted a picture of profiteering, with companies like Pfizer dictating terms to governments, shifting liabilities, and even potentially manipulating clinical trial data. Our journey took a darker turn as we explored the rise of the digital surveillance state. We found that the pandemic served as a catalyst for implementing invasive technologies, all under the banner of public health. Leaked proposals for a global vaccine passport system and increased surveillance in democracies demonstrated a worrying trend, an erosion of privacy rights in the name of safety. Finally, we examined the global economic restructuring, a seismic shift that created winners and losers on a grand scale. The World Economic Forum proposed a great reset, while billionaires increased their wealth by nearly $4 trillion and millions fell into poverty. In retelling this history, we've seen how public fear was potentially manipulated to push hidden agendas. We've witnessed the strategic use of lockdowns, the questionable practices of big pharmaceutical companies, the rise of the surveillance state, and the stark economic restructuring. This journey has been a challenge to the conventional, a demand for transparency, and a call to question the narratives we've been fed. It has been a reminder that history is not just about the past, but also a guide for the future. If you're intrigued by the unconventional, eager to challenge historical norms, and ready to explore the charted, but with a different lens, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.